Welcome, everybody. I am Dr. Michael Hartley. I'm a non-medical type of doctor, and today I am with Juliann, the amazing owner and CEO of Sage Blossom. Thank you so much, Juliann, for making some time for us today. Julie has been a client of our firm for quite some time, and it's been really amazing to kind of see the growth in her business, in her team, in her locations. So if you wouldn't mind real quick for our audience, Julie, what is your business? What is Sage Blossom?
Well, thanks, Dr. Hartley. It's a pleasure to be here. Sage Blossom Massage is a place of peace and a place of healing. I really was inspired to bring massage therapy to the masses, to make it quality and affordable so that most people can use it for more than just a special occasion, that you can really use it for anxiety relief, anxiety maintenance, pain management. And, and I just truly believe in taking care of my people is number one. And so it's just a place of healing and of joy and peace for everybody that comes through the door. And we also offer, I can't forget to mention that we offer infrared sauna therapy, and we're the first in Austin to bring dry salt therapy, which is really great for lung health and skin health. So come on down to Sage Blossom Massage.
That's awesome. And how long have you been in business?
I've been in business for myself for 10 years. And then Sage Blossom kind of sprouted from my private business, and I started it in 2013. And we opened up our first brick and mortar in 2016, and we opened up our second brick and mortar in 2019.
That's awesome. And when we looked at who you would consider your ideal customer, like the people who you love to serve the most, who would that target audience really be?
Well, it's hard to say because everybody's in pain. Everybody needs massage therapy, right? But I do think that it requires somebody to have an open mind, that it is, a place of peace, like I said. And so anybody that's hurting, anybody that needs help with some kind of pain or relief, anybody that's just looking for relief, and relaxation. We've got such an amazing crew, an amazing team. So yeah, I would just say anybody that's looking for some help and is willing to come in with an open mind and an open heart.
When COVID hit a handful of months ago, looking at where we're at today, what would you kind of say has been the biggest effect that it had or has had on your business?
Well, I mean, the most glaring, obvious effect is that we had to close for, a good couple of months. And so it's actually been interesting. There's lots of silver linings. Luckily, the whole staff has been safe and well, so that's a blessing. But I would say the most interesting part is, learning how to really come together as a team, and how I had to really nurture that family atmosphere for us, that we're going to take care of each other, that we've got each other's backs, that we're going to come back, the Sage Blossom is going to survive, and that, and as well to the clients too. We have members that were still paying memberships that kept their support with us. And, there was a lot of, we had to really make sure everybody felt safe. And that was the big switch for me. And it really boosted my feeling as being a leader, and also my leadership skills. And that was definitely the benefit.
So talk to me a little bit about leadership, stepping really, because I've had a chance to witness it. And so talk to me a little bit about how you have really, honestly, this year more than ever, stepped into a leadership role.
Well, I think that, I'm constantly learning, and I've learned a ton from you, and I really appreciate that. And I think that that's really the basis of leadership, is that you never I'm the perfect leader. You're like, okay, I've achieved it, and now I can do something else. It's definitely always growing, and it's learning, and you learn by making mistakes. You learn by maybe saying the wrong thing or handling a situation in a different way. So I think for me, it's always been like, when anything happens in my business, like the buck always stops at me. So yes, people do things wrong as well, but there's always an opportunity for a learning moment. Like, what could I have done differently to create a different situation? So that is exciting to me. It's like challenging to me. I love how, figuring out how people work and trying to figure out, or trying to help them figure out how they work. And it's also, I'm in a very unique opportunity in that, I have a lot of young women working for me. There's 30 young women that work for me. And that's such an amazing opportunity for me to lead by example, and to also help them to see that, like, how they really should be treated in the workplace. I was in the massage workplace for a long time too, and had some really amazing bosses and some pretty crappy ones. So I think as young women in the massage industry, like, it's very important that they know what it feels like to be respected and to be heard, and to be to be demanded of respect as well, like to command respect. So yes, it's very important to me. It's really become my why of the business, the mentoring, just creating a safe space where people are better because of it. Whether they're there for a month or they're there for 7 years, they're better because of it. Then that just trickles down to the clients. I mean, everybody feels that when you walk in a place and it feels good because it is good, then it makes business easy.
What I'm going to say, some may or may not agree with, and I'm okay with that. I personally believe that women make far better business owners and CEOs than men do. That's just my own personal opinion. As you have grown as a CEO and owner, as a woman-run business, what have been some of the biggest lessons you learned that maybe you want to pass along to other women-run businesses as they are maturing and growing into that role?
Well, I think that it's a delicate balance between, there's a couple things that go through my mind. One thing that really goes through my mind is that, I think about, like, the women that have been a huge influence on me in my past. And I don't think that I realized it at the time. It was in years later that I look back on that experience and I think, wow, that person was really upstanding and I really looked up to her. And she really changed the way that I think about things. So, it's hard. I mean, you do your best and you love and you give, and sometimes it is not received, or people are going through a lot of things. And so it's very, it's important to remember that you're a teaching tool, whether it's being picked up or not. And you can just do your best, and to not let, when it gets thrown back in your face, like I said, to not let it bring you down. You just take, like I said, you take the lesson learned and you just keep on doing your best. And if you always do your best, then you can never really regret. Like, yes, you make mistakes, you're not perfect, but if you do your best and own up to your mistakes and take responsibility, leave your ego at the door, then you're just doing your best. And let the chips fall where they may. Some people will appreciate it, some people will not. So I think that's hard sometimes being a woman owner, is that you get, when you do get the abuse, I think being an owner at all, but when you do get the abuse, to separate yourself from it. It's not you, it's a situation, and you just do your best and move on.
It's one of those things where separating the identity of you and your business becomes really important. You are not your business. Those are two very different things. And go, yes. Okay, this is the business. This is me. I happen to own it, run it, and it may feel like my baby at times because of whatever. At the same time, it's not my identity. And so Don't take it personal. Understand that whatever's going on is being said for a reason, and then move through it. I absolutely love that. When it comes to your business reopening, kind of relaunching, what were a couple things, one or two actions that you and your team took, to change kind of how you were operating business and stuff like that, to make sure that your clients and members did feel, that they were safe and whatnot coming back in to your business?
Well, I really appreciated something that you said earlier on. You told me about a place that had put HEPA filters all over before even the closures happened. So that really got my mind thinking, okay, I need to be ahead of the curve. Like, I need to prepare. I remember, in March when I started buying gloves, we were like, are we really going to have to do this? Like, is this really going to be this? And I said, I'll buy everything. And then if we don't need it, we'll just return it. Well, I'm really glad that I started stockpiling that stuff. I was able to get HEPA filters with UV lights for every room. Like, they are pretty much impossible to find now. And So all these things that I really started focusing on was, worst case scenario, really making sure everybody felt safe. And honestly, I really focused on keeping my staff safe because they have to touch people. They are going to be touching people. And I need a staff. I mean, they have to feel safe about coming back. And, so I just started, working on that personally. And then as far as the team, we just kept in a lot of contact. I did lots of videos I would send, just checking in, like letting them know where I am, and then we'd have weekly Zoom calls that were voluntary if you wanted to join in, just to connect and sort of get an update on what's happening. Yeah, I mean, safety is always the thing. I think safety is just a huge part of leadership in general, just making sure everybody feels safe. Because you're like the boom, 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 I got these ideas and I want to move and isn't this fantastic? But everybody else is like, but yeah, you're taking us all along for the ride. So can you just like make us feel a little safe? So I think that's part of it anyways. But yeah, that's just really the safety first and making sure everybody felt heard and that we were part of a community.
That's awesome. It's been said that it's smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from others' mistakes. So anything that you would like to pass on to others to potentially learn from your path to date as a business owner that you'd like to pass along?
I think one of the there's been a lot of really big aha moments and they continue to happen all the time. But I think during one point I had just gone into my first location and we had found out that there were all this building code stuff that wasn't right. And I hadn't done some stuff right. And like, we had to like literally move everything back to our original location for a couple of months while I get this all sorted out. And I was so mad at myself. It was like, how could I make these mistakes? Like, how could I be so dumb to not get everything done, to make sure everything's perfect before I go do it. And it was during the Small Business Festival in Austin, which is where I met you actually the next year. And there was some mentoring going on, and I asked him, I said, how do you avoid making those big mistakes, And he said, you just don't. And you just do your best and learn from your mistakes. And in fact, that whole conference that year, there was lots of really great keynote speakers, and it was all about failure and picking yourself up off the ground. And like, those are the true entrepreneurs that are not afraid of failure. Like, yeah, okay, you can live a risk-free life if you don't take any risks. But, if you take risks, sometimes you're going to fall. And the real true entrepreneurial spirit will get back up. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do the wrong thing. It's okay to learn things by making mistakes. And I think that's just a really important lesson. And something that you said that I think is amazing is perfection perfection. It gets in the way of progress. Like, you say it much better than me, but that is huge. Like, don't go for perfect. It just gets in your way. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect.
Perfection is something we make up in our head. Perfection doesn't really exist. It's something that we've decided it is. And because of whatever we've decided, it causes procrastination, which dramatically inhibits the ability to make progress. And so I absolutely love that. Now, what's interesting to me is with what you said, it begs the final question, which is, because you're absolutely right. In fact, the reason why, most don't make it as business owners is because they don't have the drive to go, okay, I got knocked down 7 times and then gonna get back up 8, right? It's that drive. The question becomes is, and this may be different for each individual, but how do you actually internalize that and say, okay, I'm actually going to be that person that gets knocked down 7 times and gets back up 8. Every time I get frustrated or put down, I'm not going to allow it to create those negative thoughts. I'm going to go, okay, learning opportunity. Like, it's one of those things where you then have to internalize it and then put it into practice, which can oftentimes be harder, easier said than done, type thing.
Yeah.
So
I think, honestly, it's something intrinsic. There is something intrinsic about it. And I think if it doesn't come naturally to you, then you have to do a lot of work, on yourself, probably with a really good therapist, to really boost your self-esteem up. I think back to my childhood, and while it wasn't perfect and there were struggles, I had a very strong sense of self, and I was very independent, and I was allowed to be very independent and you know, a self-starter. And so I built a lot of confidence, and nobody really told me that I shouldn't have confidence. I had great parents and lived in the country and ran around the mountains, and, you know, that was just like my life. And I grew up with a very strong sense of who I was. And so I think that that really serves me well. And I think, you know, with other people that have had a lot of people in their lives that have told them that they are nothing, that's a really hard mountain to climb. And so when things go awry, and when, you know, somebody gets mad at you and sends you a scathing email that, like, I was with one of my managers once when I got one of these emails, and she was like, how are you not like a puddle on the floor? And it's like, meh. You know, it just is. And people have their things, and you know, sometimes, like I said, there's always my part in it, but it's their thing, and it's just a thing. It's not who I am. They know I'm not that person. Really, they know that, you know? So I think there's something about it that's intrinsic. And I think that if you don't have that strong sense of self, like, really do seek out some help for that, because you can overcome it, but you can't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get beaten up on and you don't have a strong sense of self. That's dangerous, you know, for your psyche.
Totally. Your mindset, it won't recover sometimes. So
Yeah.
Juliann, thank you so much. How do people want to come check out Sage Blossom, how do they do it?
Well, you can book online at sageblossom.massage.com. Definitely check out our website. We're on Instagram, Sage Blossom Massage. We're on Facebook, of course. And you can give us a call, and we would love to see you. It's a place for everybody. There's, you know, we go from 2-hour massages for $150, and then you can come in for a salt therapy session for 30 minutes for $25. So I really want to bring it to everybody. There's wellness at every level, and we just can't wait to see you. We'll take great care of you.
That's amazing. And I know that you will. One last question. What is inspiring you today?
What is inspiring me today? This is a tricky time right now, right? Like, it's like we're just kind of hitting a new spike. And so I think that, you know what's funny? And I know this sounds cheesy, and I know that, like, but I do listen to your 20-minute, your webinars every Monday on the 20 minutes. And it's very inspirational. You inspire me, Dr. Hartley. You really do. You put me in a better mindset. You take me to a different place. You inspire me to get focused and to get going and to get moving and to not wallow. And, you know, I'm also inspired by, just the community at large. Like, you know, we're in like Zoom land now, but it's been very positive, because I have been face to face with a lot of new people and a lot of really supportive people. And I'm always inspired by people and community. I mean, that really is the bottom line. And so I just really appreciate all of the people that might be professionally and personally that have really carried me along through this. And I think that, you know, if we can survive, that we'll all be better off because of this break and this, you know, change of focus and change of mindset.
I love that. And I appreciate the kind words.
Thank you.
Juliann, thank you so much. Appreciate you dedicating and investing some time with us today to share a little tiny portion of your massive story that I know you have to share with others. This is Juliann with Sage Blossom. I'm Dr. Michael Hartley. We'll see you next time.